And the next question he brings up as well is, and I don't think we've ever brought this guy up before, what was it like working for Bill Watts? Plus any good Mid-South stories. Thanks, love the show.
Well, I learned Bill Watts to work for him. I got along with Bill. He's a very verbal guy. He would holler and scream and carry on. Not at me, because I think he liked me. But working in Mid-South was brutal. I went down there and I've heard these big houses and this, that, and the other. Yeah, they have some big houses, but those miles, we would all live in somewhere central of the territory, and it happened to be Alexandria, Louisiana. That's the most boringest ass town I've ever been to. I mean, it was central. Yeah, I got that. It was central to New Orleans and Baton Rouge, and it was central to the Arkansas towns and Tulsa and Oklahoma City. But every 2 weeks, you would leave Alexandria to go to Oklahoma for some kind of a spot show on Saturday night. And then the next day, and it's a long way up there, it's like 350 miles. And the next day you had a double header. I think you started in Oklahoma City in the afternoon, and you didn't even get dressed. You just stayed in your wrestling clothes. You hopped in the car, you drove to Tulsa, you did a show that night, then you drove back. Brutal. One night I was so sleepy, I swear to God, I saw a bunch of, I don't know what was in front of me. It was just a bunch of, my eyes were like this. I had driven like, I don't know, it felt like 10 hours. But I just slammed on the brakes and locked the car down. It's a good thing nobody was out there. But I had apparently thought I saw a bunch of people or a car in the road. And then, of course, me screeching woke me up. And I looked around, there's nothing there. So I pulled over at the next place I could get coffee and just load it up. And that's why I say, I've said this before, it's a wonder more wrestlers haven't been killed on the road than what has already happened. Crazy. But and the Bill Watts thing, I would always go into the town and I would do about, say I would be in Tulsa and I'll say, hello, Oklahoma City. I'd always do that. Of course, first thing, I don't even know where I am. And then I would go to Oklahoma City that night and say, hello, Tulsa. I'd always get them confused. But I kind of kept that little spiel in there, which gets a little bit of a rise on them. And I'd always do a little bit of an interview before the match, which I always like to do. It'd be about a minute or so, but the people gives them a little bit of entertainment. It's better than just two guys walking down there and having a match. But the fans were very receptive. I mean, and they really like good wrestling, and the wrestling was great. He had a show, I think, Shreveport. That's where he did his. It was called the McNeely Boys and Girls Club. And we would go there like every 2 weeks and we'd do TV. I remember one time I went out there and I was working with this guy. I don't know. Ernie Ladd was there. And I love Ernie Ladd to death. I met him in Florida and he always liked me. So I would ride with Ernie a lot. And you're talking about flying a lot, like in those trips in Florida, like and in Charlotte. He would rent a little plane and he'd ask me, Dutch, you want to go with me? Well, hell yeah, I want to go with you. I get to fly to Miami. It was just only like 45 minutes, an hour. You drive is 4 hours. So I would fly down there with him.